It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. We track everything politics in the polity. And today it looks like the federal government of Nigeria and that of Ghana, they're not mincing words over what is happening in South Africa. We'll touch base with that as far as ECOWAS is concerned. Also, the NBA now has a new president. But after these headlines, stay with us. Federal government asks African Union to unify against acts of afrophobia in South Africa during its ECOWAS summit as Senegal's President Diomaye Faye gets elected as new chairman of the sub-regional bloc. President-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, Jigawa Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, appreciates colleagues for a victory, seeks unity following highly charged electoral process. We'll speak with one of the contestants on the program today. And just before we get to all of the big issues, unfortunately, we can tell you that 6 people have died and 15 others rescued, while many others remain missing following a boat mishap in Malamawa village, Ringim local government area of Jigawa state. The incident involving about 40 passengers occurred on Sunday evening. That's the much we have as far as that story is concerned. It's a developing story. As soon as we get more details, we'll be the first to bring you up to speed. But we can tell you that 6 people passed after a boat mishap in Malamawa village in Ringim local government on Jigawa state occurred. We understand a lot more persons are missing in this incident. Let's talk about the Nigerian Bar Association announcing the successful completion of its 2026 National Officers Election. The chairman of the Electoral Committee of the NBA, Mr. Ahmed Jalam, announced that Mrs. Jigawa Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, as the winner of the presidential seat.
This is the final hour for the Nigeria Bar Association to announce the successful completion of its 2026 National Officers Election.
The contestants are many.
The election was held through electronic voting for 24 hours from the early hours of Saturday to 7:34 a.m. on Sunday.
And we have successfully concluded.
The real-time status of the 2026 NBA national elections shows a total of 82,172 registered voters, while 26,184 voted, representing a total turnout of 31.86%.
One thing particular about this exercise is that each vote represents actual valid votes cast by one person.
Some candidates emerged with new positions as the announcement of Mrs. Jigawa Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, as the winner of the presidential seat is made.
The General Secretary will have Afam Okeke. He polled 8,478 votes. Jigawa Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, Mrs. B, polled 12,317 votes, representing 47.18%. With that result, she stands elected as the president of Nigeria.
In his remarks, the president of the association laments that some individuals attempted to hack through the system.
The maligned individuals, they undermined the process with their utterances, and yet we stood firm. The members of the ECMBA stood firm. Every effort to derail this process failed. But I will say to the men and women who today have been elected to take over from us, and by the way, we can't wait to hand over to them, that as we celebrate, know that this is a trying time for the bar.
Following her victory, Badejo Okunsoya, who is the second female president of the bar, in a statement described her election as a collective triumph for lawyers. She pledged to lead a highly inclusive and responsive administration, promising to be a president for every MBA member, while declaring her dedication to integrity, fairness, and accountability.
Now, we're going to come to that conversation because it is our main conversation for today on the program. But we can tell you that the federal government of Nigeria has been taking very, very strong and unapologetic stance against the wave of violence in South Africa, and is asking the African Union to speak with one voice in condemning the ongoing afrophobic or xenophobic attacks targeting fellow Africans. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, made the call at the 69th Ordinary Session of the Economic Community of West African State Authority of Heads of State and Government in Freetown, Sierra Leone, where he represented President Bola Tinubu.
We must renew our collective determination to strengthen regional integration and ensure that our community remains responsive to the aspirations and needs of our people. On afrophobic attacks in South Africa, I wish to join Ghana in strongly condemning the afrophobic attacks on its citizens and other fellow Africans in the Republic of South Africa. As already mentioned by His Excellency the President of Ghana, ECOWAS should present this matter before the next meeting of the Authority of African Union to send a clear message that this type of intolerance is unacceptable. South Africa should be reminded, while we tread the path of moderation, South Africa needs to be reminded that the freedom the country currently enjoys is due to the liberation efforts of African countries such as Nigeria and Ghana. Deductions were made from our scholarship allowances to fund liberation movements in Southern Africa. They should learn to know where their problem lies. Their problem does not lie with fellow Africans who are there to sell their skills. The Nigerian government has evacuated our citizens in 7 batches and is prepared to engage more on this matter.
It's as clear as crystal. The federal government has spoken. Let's come back to our conversation for the day. The NBA now has its 33rd president, and that is Ms. Oyinkansola SAN, who is the Badejo Okunsoya, who is the 33rd president of the NBA, and she's the second female because there was a Priscilla Kuye, who was a vice president, and then when the president was appointed an attorney general, she took over the affairs of the NBA in 1992, 1993. So she is the first directly elected, Ms. Badejo Okunsoya. But it was a contest between 3 persons. Let's bring in one of the contestants, Mr. Olumuyiwa Akimboro, is a senior advocate of Nigeria, joining us from Abuja studio. Mr. Akimboro, thank you so much for coming on the program. Good to see you again in maybe 72 hours ago, we're chatting, we're here talking about this election.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
Yeah, we've read a lot. There are so many reactions. So out of the 82,000 voters, I think about 24, so correct me if I'm wrong, that voted, coming to about 33%. We hear there were, some glitches in terms of ability to vote. Anyway, it was open for 24 hours, but it has come and gone. But tell us, are you displeased with the process? And because yesterday when my colleague was asking the president-elect about you guys going to court, she said, well, she will do her best to, to see what she can do in terms of reconciliation. So your general impression of the election and whether or not you'll be heading to court?
Well, I know that. I think it's obvious. It can't be my own impression only. But first of all, let me start by thanking everybody that stood firm for justice in this process, my supporters and all the people that encourage us to fight to the point that we have. But yes, the result has come. The result that they claim is the result is out. But it's clear to everybody, not only me, it's everywhere. Social media and newspapers, how the election went. Everybody has come out to say clearly that it's the worst election in the history of NBA. And you just said it yourself. In an election of where 80-something thousand people were qualified to vote, only 31%, around 24,000 were able to vote. In Lagos, for example, where they have almost 20,000 qualified voters, look at Lagos branch, they could record only 3,000 voters. In Abuja, where we had close to that, around 18,000, we could only record about 4,000 plus voters. The same for Kano, the same for Ilorin. Ilorin was even worse. Ilorin, that is one of the top 10, they had only about 500 or so voters that were able to vote. Ibadan, the same. So it's everywhere. Even me, a candidate in the election, I could not even vote for myself. I tried several times. I could not receive any OTP. An election that was supposed to be commenced at 12 midnight, couldn't commence. And it was at 6 a.m. that I left to go and sleep, only for them to wake me up at 9 that election has commenced. There was no notice to anybody. They told us that the election was suspended, and all of us retired. And that was partly or majorly responsible for the very extremely low turnout, because there was no notice that the election was going to be commenced at 7:30. They told us themselves that they put it up there, that election was suspended. So I don't understand how we can define this as an election in any way. By any standard of electioneering, this cannot qualify. And it's unfortunate that this is happening in Nigeria Bar Association. And well, I knew that this would happen, because the focus of my campaign has always been that the present executive cannot give us a free and fair election. And that if we are going to have a fair and fair election, we should bring independent people to come and conduct it.
So
it is clear, yes.
Yeah, my apologies. Let's unpack some of the issues and allegations you've leveled against the electoral body. So first, at what point did they announce that election has been postponed? By what do you mean by postponed? Another day or a shift in hour of opening the ballot? So I need you to clarify on that. Second, the second part is, just a moment, sir. The second part has to do with the election is by, I guess it's by code. I don't know whether people's names actually display whether you know who is going to vote or not, because I understand wherever you are as a member of the bar around the world, you can have access to voting. So perhaps the counter argument is, it's not as if they see that, oh, this person wants to vote Mr. Kimboro, don't allow him come in. This person wants to vote Mr. The other gentleman, don't allow him come in. Oh, this person wants to vote Oyekansola SAN, allow the person vote. So talk to us about what your techies are telling you, but especially that announcement. What was the, clarify what you mean by an announcement of postponement that you said may have caused the voter turnout.
Now, okay, thank you very much. The election was supposed to have commenced 12 midnight of the 18th. And not 5 or 10 minutes into the election, the website went down, and then they put up a notice that the election is suspended. And that was there for till like around, I went to sleep at around 6:30 a.m. And it was displayed that the election has been suspended. No time was given to the length of suspension that we should expect or when the election was going to commence. So I ordinarily expected that if the election had been so interrupted, because when they started, let me even take it from there. When they started and the website was up, my name was not on the ballot. My picture was not there. Then I think Akangbe's picture too was not there. Oyekansola Badejo's picture was there, and her name. And the only explanation we had was that there was cyber attack. I think that was just looking for something to say, because the cyber attack, how is cyber attack going to affect preparedness? When my name is Olumuyiwa Akiboro, everybody knows my name. And they put Oluwatoyin Muyiwa Akiboro on the ballot. Oluwatoyin has never been part of my name. So they took it down on their own. They should come out and own up that they were not prepared. They took it down on their own, maybe to go and make corrections. And if they should have notified us. You are talking about my techies. there was no time that anybody was invited to bring any specialist to come and investigate what they are doing or see what they are doing. I don't even have any agent at the election because they never notified me to bring any agent. You are talking about information. What I'm doing now is just collecting information from the branches to know, okay, from what they have released, how many people qualify for the branches, how many people are able to vote, and cross-check information. There was no information, there was nothing. It was just something. The election was just was shrouded in mystery and in secrecy. We did not participate in the election. How do the process? We have been complaining about former elections, but this one stands out as the worst. Now, there are stages in our election when they want to interview the service providers. They normally invite candidates. We were not invited. When they want to migrate the voters register into the platform, they will invite the candidate to witness it. We were never invited.
So
all the process.
Just a moment. Yes, my apologies. Just a moment. So you have highlighted, you've not answered the most important question that I did ask, which is whether you will head to seek redress. And the second part to that question will be, if you had, despite the shortcomings, as you will, of this election, if you had emerged victorious in this election, would you have been saying the things you're saying right now?
It is not possible for me to have emerged victorious. Because the president of the bar, Marcia Famosigui, I told several people that I was going to come third. It was obvious he was supporting a candidate. He went out campaigning for a candidate. Everything is everywhere. People know how the election was going to turn out if Marcia Famosigui and the so-called electoral committee conducted the election. So it was not, you see that I'm not shocked. It is expected. So the issue of whether I'm going to win the election couldn't have ever arisen, because I knew that if Marcia Famosigui and his electoral committee conduct the election, there is no way. There is no way.
So why
it was obvious. They were working from answer to question.
So you have casted a vote of no confidence on the leadership, on the electoral body. You still haven't answered my question. Are you seeking redress in court, SAN?
Thank you for asking that question. Before I answer you, I will first of all tell you that what we are seeing here is a shame, and it's unfortunate that I can categorize it as failure of institutions, regulatory institutions. If it didn't get to this point today, I could remember that we approached the body of benchers, we approached the council, General Council of the Bar, we approached the body of past presidents, stating all these things as we were noticing them along the line. But all of them failed. It was only the Attorney General that stood up and called a meeting. And at the end of the day, Alpha Mosigwe also, through Alpha Mosigwe called the meeting. He phoned me and told me that he's calling a meeting where we will resolve all the issues. That the AG is going to be there, the chairman of the body of benchers, and the ECMBA. If I had known that it was a setup, I wouldn't have attended that meeting. He set up that meeting, and the AG midwifed it. And we agreed that some of the things that needed to be done to give our election credibility. And one of it is one device, one vote, which we agreed on. But from what we saw this last time, people were voting for people. It was the people are using one device to vote for 100.
Senior advocate, I will go on a break. So you have made allegations that need, thank God you're a lawyer and a member of the inner bar, so you know that this allegation, if you head to court, it's not just going to be words of mine, you will prove. But we'll take a short break, yes, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Okay.
Welcome back. My guest is one of the contestants at the last concluded NBA presidential election. Lumiyua Akimbori is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Mr. Kimbora, I was saying that you've mentioned multiple voting from multiple devices. You've mentioned this has been rigged against you, ab initio. You've raised a lot of allegations.
Same devices.
Okay, sorry. Multiple vote from the same devices. How is that possible when you have to generate an OTP that is unique?
Well, maybe that's the question that the Electoral Committee we need to answer. And part of the things that we requested, we told them that after the post-election audit, we have to show how many votes were casted from same devices. I'm still looking forward to their report where they will indicate to us how many times they use same devices to vote, to vote multiply. And then we are still expecting that. I think the question is more for the Electoral Committee to answer. No, the point I'm trying to make, and I know that, yes.
No, the point, you who alleges must prove. So it's not them, it is you. I'm sure you have your tech people to say, this is what we discovered, because you're going to go against them to say, this is what, you're a lawyer, so you understand what I'm saying. You're not going to say, we understand a few things were done. You're going to prove to them, because this is technology, there are trails here. So that's why I'm insisting on that question, sir.
We are still collecting the proofs, and I'm going to prove to them if I decide to prove, to go to court. And that is a decision that I need to take. You see, I never went to this election that I must win by all means. For me, it was never a do or die thing. I think by the grace of God, I've seen it all. I went to this election to make sure that I clean our system, our electoral process, and I never wavered from day one. I made my point clear. We had a we have put ourselves in a situation where, as lawyers, we can't even come out to criticize politicians, to say anything. It's everywhere. All these questions you are asking me, all you need to do is go online and see what people are saying. In Lagos, where we have more than 20,000 people, less than 3,000 plus were able to vote. And you are saying that the election was fair and fair. You are telling me that there is no way they can say, oh, Mr. Hay wants to vote for me, let me not allow him. But they could know area of strength of each candidate and make sure that they don't get OTPs or the reduced number of people that will vote for such areas. Those are the things, part of the things that we are looking at.
Let me tell you what, I spoke to a lawyer who is a techie who voted in this election. This is the technical reason he gave to me as part of the challenge, that that is his own position, because he understands on this back end, is that the voting portal, allow me to use a very layman's term, the back end was not hosted on a dedicated platform. So because it was not hosted on a dedicated platform, because of the surge in query, it affected the query time to be able to respond. I think it took him about 3 to 4 hours for him to get his OTP and eventually vote in that particular election. So, because this is technology we're talking about, but in moving forward, what will you do going forward?
I think before you get to that, you should allow me to respond to the poster you just reached now that somebody said that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes. I think that you see that boils down to lack of preparedness, because if you are tested, the platform that we use was never tested. It was never demonstrated. All these things are things that should have been discovered along the line if you have demonstrated the platform and tested it before you launch into the election. And that was the thing that what we discussed with the AG online in the meeting organized by Alpha Musigo himself. Those are part of the things that were raised, that we need to educate people and also to test the platform. It was never allowed. Instead of that, he threw the AG under the bus. In the meeting that he invited the AG to, and went to NEC to go and make sure that to make it look as if the AG was supporting a candidate. And he did everything that is possible to malign my candidature, playing on the mentality of lawyers that they don't ever want interference in their affairs. But all these things that I'm saying about is a technology, is delayed time. How in this world that you want to conduct an election for 80,000 people, and you think that a delay time of 3-4 hours before you get your OTP is reasonable? Those are the things we are talking about. So that means you are also agreeing with me that a lot of people were disenfranchised because the system was not ready. This is an election that we conducted that every 1 hour, they are migrating to another platform. Please, every 1 hour, we are migrating from another platform. They will give you a website that they will say, okay, you can log in on this website. 1 hour later, it will go down. They will send another one that you can go to another website. Within 24 hours, we were going from one website to the other like 5 or 6 times in a single election.
All right, Senior Advocate, we're totally out of time. My apologies. So we just have about a minute to wrap up the show. So what's the average voter turnout since this electronic voting started? Average voter, 50%, 60%, 70%? Would you have any idea?
The last election, I'm sure that it was more than 50%.
All right.
I can't recollect because I can't recollect all. I'm sure that it was more than 50%. The number of qualified voters are not this high even, and we had quite a huge turnout. But this one, I don't know. Now, right, finally, you asked me what would be my. You asked me what would be my
30
reaction.
seconds.
Am I going to court?
I'm literally being chased out. 30
Am I
seconds.
going to court?
Yes.
Am I going to court?
Are you going to court?
I'm talking to my team. My initial reaction when I started this campaign is that whatever comes out, I prove my points. I may not go to court. But I'm still looking at all what has happened. I am still talking to my team, and a decision will be reached in the next 24 hours.
All right.
Whatever we are going to do.
So we're looking at your handles, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere to know what you have decided. Lumiwa Akimboro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you, sir, for coming through in quick succession. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
This is Channels Television's Breaking News.
And breaking news just in, Andy Burnham has officially taken office as the 7th UK Prime Minister in a decade following the formal transfer of power from Keir Starmer at Buckingham Palace. Mr. Burnham's primary focus centers on restoring political stability, easing the cost of living crisis, and offering economic relief to households across the country. The former mayor of Greater Manchester returned to Parliament via a by-election before securing the Labour Party leadership following Starmer's resignation. His administration aims to emphasize regional devolution, economic growth, and address pressing public service needs. So there you are, the new UK Prime Minister. That's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served. Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.